We begin this morning in New York City, where in just a few hours, President Biden will speak before the United Nations General Assembly for the first time as president. He's facing tough questions from other world leaders about his handling of the troop withdrawal from Afghanistan, as well as a wide range of other issues. The president, who has pushed the message that America's back, hopes to reaffirm just how willing the U.S. is to work with its allies. Bradley Blackburn is outside the UN headquarters in New York with a preview. Bradley, good morning.
Laura, good morning. The president is already in New York, and he will be here at the UN around 10 o'clock this morning. What happens at the UN today is more than just ceremony. It comes as America's relationships with key allies are strained and as world leaders continue to cope with the pandemic.
President Biden is in New York to address the UN General Assembly for the first time since taking office. The president arrived in the city last night. He then headed to a meeting with Secretary General Antonio Guterres, during which Mr. Biden affirmed his support for the UN.
The vision of the United Nations has never been short in ambition, any more than our Constitution. But the ambition matters.
Aides say President Biden's speech this morning will focus on the idea that the world is turning a page after 2 decades of war.
He will also reaffirm that the United States is not turning inward, including as we look to the decision the United States made, the president made, to bring our troops home from Afghanistan.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki acknowledged yesterday that relations with allies like France have recently been strained.
Reestablishing alliances doesn't mean that you won't have disagreements. What you'll hear the president talk about tomorrow is that we are committed to those alliances, and that always requires work from every president, from every global leader.
This will be the first in-person General Assembly in 2 years. Because of the pandemic, last year's event was mostly virtual, but this year, 2/3 of the 193 member states are sending delegates here to UN headquarters.
Coronavirus concerns are why President Biden will spend only a few hours at the UN. Tomorrow, Mr. Biden will convene a virtual COVID-19 summit. Its goal to reach a consensus about how to vaccinate at least 70% of the world's population.
And there is some concern that the UN meeting this week could itself be a super spreader event in New York City. Diplomats are required to be vaccinated, but they're enforcing that with the honor system. And the first speaker at the General Assembly today is the president of Brazil, who has loudly refused to get the shot. Laura?
And as you mentioned, 2/3 of member states will be there, so that's a lot of world leaders. Regarding the topics that Biden is expected to focus on, foreign diplomacy, clearly a big one. But what do you think are the challenges that he faces there?
Well, one real concern is this rift with France right now. There is a major disagreement over a nuclear submarine deal. And, they had agreed, France had agreed to furnish submarines to Australia in a deal that was worth some $66 billion. But now the United States and the UK have agreed to provide nuclear submarines. And so this has caused a major issue. And the president will be meeting with the Prime Minister of Australia today, also the Prime Minister of the UK. So this is top of mind, a major disagreement with an ally, France.
And Bradley, you'd mentioned the coronavirus, Afghanistan. What are some of the other topics that we expect Biden to discuss during his speech?
Climate change is going to be a big issue. That is a major topic for the Secretary General here at the UN. And we expect that President Biden will reaffirm commitments to give financial support to poorer countries to help them adapt to clean energy technologies. There were actually agreements made back in 2009 that were supposed to kick in last year. So the president's going to speak about that. And then he'll also speak more generally, calling on key allies and member states here at the UN to cooperate and to act swiftly on this issue of climate change. Laura?
Well, we will certainly be tuning in at 10 o'clock. Bradley, thank you.